Go and grab your Bewear merchandise today. There are t-shirts, sweatshirts, phone cases, and more, all with the link down in the description below. You do not want to miss out. What's up, guys? It's Carson back here on Toxic Gaming today with week 5 of the meme league and stuff. This week we're going up against George and the Litwick Town FC. I don't know why I almost said Litwick. Some of these team names are really tough for me to say. But we're going up against him this week and everything like that. There will be a little timestamp on the video to show where you guys need to go if you want to skip this part of the team builder and stuff. So if you want to go skip to there, go ahead. But his team, or draft full, is Latias, which is a Z user, Sylveon, Mega Scizor, Rotom Heat, Terrakion, another Z user, Swampert, Silvally with a Z, or that's a Super Z user, Sceptile, Liepard, Frillish, Staravia, and Clang. He kind of went on pretty memey on the back end. But basically what we are right now with our team here, once it decides to reload on Showdown, we got a Zygarde here, Zygarde 10, or Scarf Zygarde. Kind of a usual Zygarde set for me now. It just seems like it's kind of best fitting on my team in the Scarf role. With 1,000 Arrows, Outrage, E-Speed, and 1,000 Waves, just kind of another ground type attack to see if we could do anything cool with it. We didn't really need, I feel like, much else. But with 48 in HP, 252 in attack, and then 216 in Jolly and speed to outpace Latias for Scarf Latias, anything like that, we can outpace his, basically, I think it's his fastest Mon too. Yeah, Latias being his fastest, no, Sceptile I think is a little bit faster, but we couldn't have outsped Sceptile anyway. But that's what we have for our Zygarde, or Roman, you know, or Zygarde 10, Zydog. He's a cool little dude. Next, we actually brought our meme on our team this week with KO, our Alolan Sandshrew, the little guy, with Eviolite, because duh, and with Gyro Ball, Rapid Spin, Counter, and Toxic, 248 in HP, 8 in attack, and then 252 in defense, and Relaxed Nature to get the most power out of Gyro Ball possible. Basically, I had the idea for this Sandshrew, and I knew when I could draft a Alolan Sandshrew I wanted to do this at least once, was the Counter set, and I had the idea of going Sash instead of Eviolite, but then I was like, you know what, I might need Eviolite just as a switch-in, rather than just have Sash and get my Sash broken for no reason. But if this Sandshrew could, you know, toss around Toxics against this team, you know, a random Gyro Ball onto something that can actually get hurt by it a lot, that'd be really cool. Spin away rocks when we need to, and if I can pull off a counter, that'd be amazing. But that's really what Sandshrews here. Kind of, he's the meme. It's what we have. If we need someone to sack off, sadly, to actually win the game, that's what Sandshrews' job is. Next, we have Alicia Fox, our Delphox, another, again, our Scarf duo, the second half, with Fire Blast, this time on a Flamethrower. Felt like we needed the extra power. A Shadow Ball, Psychic, and Dazzling Gleam, 4 in HP, 252 in special attack, and then 252 timid in speed. We needed this thing pretty much as fast as possible. I didn't really feel like I could go with anything speed creeping wise with this, as maybe like a Scarf Swampert or something could try to speed creep a non-Scarf Delphox, or the Z Delphox. So I decided to go Scarf, really try to go quick and try to annoy him with that. And I really was debating of having both Shadow Ball and Dazzling Gleam on here, but I felt like I still needed both, just in case of a random Hidden Power or Dragon Silvally, or a random Dark Silvally because of Parting Shot, or you know, something weird on like Silvally. I felt like Dazzling Gleam could really help out. Next, we actually have Master Lock, our Buzzwole. He's finally coming back with Leftovers and Bulk Up, Poison Jab, Superpower, and Leech Lag. 252 HP, 164 in attack, 32 and Impish in defense, and then 60 in speed. I think our speed is our speed creeping. I think Swampert. I think that's when we're actually going over speed creep, or we're speed creeping like uninvested Rotom Heat, maybe somewhere around there. And then the reason the attack is like so high in the EVs and then defense is low, but we're also boosting nature for defense, is so that we're 1 point higher with attack, and so that when we beast boost and kill something and get that boost, we actually get an attack boost instead of a defense boost, and then we can also basically get our stats as high as they could possibly be with still having that. That's kind of what I'm going to do with Buzzwole, and Bulk Up Buzzwole can really put the hurt on teams when he can actually do a thing. When you get a Bulk Up and all of a sudden you kill something, Buzzwole becomes a huge problem. Poison Jab was for the Sylveon. Superpower basically as a spammable move, and then Leech Life for the Latias, as we can hit that and get its health back. For Sceptile, if we need to hit that with anything. And I think for Liepard as well, even though Liepard could probably like Prankster T-Wave us, I'd rather get the Leech Life and just get health back rather than just super outkill it with Superpower if I need to. Next we have Ryder 2012, our Slowbro. He's coming back. He's one of the better performers on our team so far, but he's with Assault Vest and Regenerator, Grass Knot, Scald, Flamethrower, Shadow Ball, 252 in HP, 212 in Bold and Defense, and then 44 in Special Attack. Basically, I saw this as Slowbro can do the thing to the majority of his team. If we need Slowbro to do something, we got Grass Knot for the Swampert, Scald is general damage, Flamethrower for the Mega Scizor, and Shadow Ball for the Latias. Overall, we have like most of the threats covered with Slowbro. We can have Scald for Terrakion. We have Flamethrower for Sceptile. We got Rotom Heat, Scald, easy. And then basically any of the other ones like the Liepard, the Froish, the Staravia, the Clang, we can click either Scald, Shadow Ball, or Flamethrower for the majority of those. Grass Knot was basically the mandatory fourth move because of Swampert, but really Slowbro can do a lot this game if we can play him right. And then finally we have Lesnar, or Jirachi, with leftovers, taking a page out of Spoogel's book from last week with Wish, Toxic, Protect, and Ironhead. He really dick Jirachi, but that's fine. With 252 in HP, 24 in defense, 216 in special defense, and careful nature, and then 16 in speed in case of speed creeps. Basically, I kind of wanted this Jirachi to counter Latias as much as possible, with being able to Toxic it, being able to Wish around if it has to switch out, and being able to protect on pretty much everything else. It was kind of also like a pseudo Sylveon counter, being able to take Hyper Voices like a champ and Toxic and Ironhead that thing to death. So really, Jirachi here is because I figured if he brought Rotom Heat 2 and tried to have it offensive, it's going to hit me on the special side with Overheat rather than anything else, or rather than trying to go foul play. So I wanted to protect the special side of Jirachi with that. But we're just going to get up on into the battle here. He led with the Swampert, and I led with Ryder. I kind of guessed, when I looked at this team, I guessed of 3 different leads, either Scizor, Rotom Heat, or Swampert. And Swampert would be for Rocks, Scizor for U-Turn Momentum, and Rotom Heat for Volt Switch Momentum. And any of those 3, Ryder here can take care of. Literally those 3, he can take care of any one of them. He actually pulls the switch first turn out into his Sylveon. I'm guessing his dedicated check to Slowbro. I went for the Grass Knot. No reason not to, even though I had to show it. And he goes into Sylveon. I switch out here into Lesnar. My dedicated switch into Sylveon, as we see, 12% from that Hyper Voice. So that really didn't do the damage. And even though he is leftovers, a bulky set, he decided to switch out here into his Silvally, and I went for Toxic. And getting Toxic on his Mons was so helpful, because if he does have the defensive Sylveon with Heal Bell, I'll be able to know. If he has, for some reason, I think even Latias can get Heal Bell, I'll be able to know that that's a more bulky style Latias. I know he gets Healing Wish too, so if he wants to waste his Latias to heal this up, to heal Rotom up from the Toxic damage, heal Sylveon up, he basically has to waste the Latias for it. So I knew spreading Toxic would be a very, very big thing in this game. But I'm up to full, so I'm not really too worried about what this thing can do to me. He goes right for a Z-Power, which is Z Heal Block, which the fucking hell was that? Like, I've never seen Z Heal Block and really knew what it does. Z moves were just kind of still new to me, and him getting basically a Nasty Plot boost and I can't heal is really shitty. So I'm really scared of that, and I actually did go for Wish this turn to pass it, and I can't even use Wish now. So now I have to protect. I'm doing my Toxic Saw stuff. He shows me Flamethrower. Figured kind of Flamethrower or Ice Beam, one of the two, along with the normal stab. So I decided to go into Riders. I can take the Flamethrower and normal stab decent, and he still takes a chunk out of Ryder with the Assault Vest, but he's also racking up toxic damage now. He has to go into his Scizor to scare me pretty much. I decided to pull the double here into KO, and here's where I was kind of like not worried, but I was like, oh my god, can I actually pull this off? I figured he would be, if he wasn't a Swords Dance set Scizor, if he was more of a bulkier set, a Roost, Defog type set, he would either go for a Bullet Punch here or go for an Aerial Ace, because if he doesn't have Aerial Ace, then he literally cannot touch Buzzwole at all. So I wanted to see how much damage this could do to me, or if he had like a random hidden power fire for this, or natural gift fire. See if I can live that and then kill this Scizor. And sadly, he Mega Evolves and then Swords Dances right in front of me. I blow my counter load a little early, which is really sad, and so he could just set up on me all day, but he decides to switch out instead. I wasn't really sure why, and I went for counter a second time, because it was basically like even a +2, he had to have had Brick Break, and if he has Brick Break, he probably doesn't have a recovery move due to both having Bullet Punch and Aerial Ace. So he was kind of in a position where he still couldn't kill me at +2, but I figured he would just keep on either setting up or hit me, one of the two, and I believe he had to get to +6 for Bullet Punch to even attempt to do anything, and +6 to have Aerial Ace have a chance to kill me. So instead of that, he decided to switch out into the Rotom, and I went for the counter a second time. I felt like I had no reason not to. And here, he decides to Willow my Sandshrew, and I decided to Toxic him. It was weird. This was a point where I was like, okay, I can switch out into Slowbro and take the Overheat that I expected was coming. And that's fine. Slowbro can scare the hell out of this thing. But if he Volt Switches, expecting me to switch out, I lose momentum. Okay, so I go into Jirachi instead to take a Volt Switch. He overheats, so like I'm predicting him to do here. Jirachi's then tanked down. I don't want to put either one of my two Scarfers in here and get them have damage on them early, and Buzzwole can't take this thing on. So my only thing I could really do was let Sandshrew go down, and if he didn't kill me, I got a Toxic on this. That's what I needed to do, and luckily he Willowed when I Toxiced, so Sandshrew's already passed the Toxic around like it's his job. He Willows a second time, guessing I was probably switch out, and I Toxiced the second time. So we had a really productive turn there, and I'm guessing he maybe was still thinking I was going to switch out after getting Toxic off. So I don't know what the hell is going on right now. I'm just here with the Alolan Sandshrew in front of him. But here he decides to actually switch out, hard switch here into Silvally. I went for Toxic a third time because really, why not Toxic 3 times in a row? But again, it was kind of like, okay, if you go into the Latias expecting an Ice, expecting a Gyro Ball or another counter, and maybe a weird Calm Mind Latias, get Toxic on that, get a Toxic on the Swampert, get a Toxic on the Sylveon. Basically everything but Scizor I was okay to spam Toxics with. And here against the Silvally, I was kind of worried about him just killing me with the Flamethrower, so I decided to switch out, save the counter for later, go into Slowbro. He goes right for the Tri-Attack, and we see that without that +2, this, from the Z Heal Block, this Slowbro can completely fucking rail him. If he decides to waste a turn and go for Heal Block so I can't slack off, because he hasn't seen anything else on my moveset, then it doesn't matter to me. He's wasted a turn heal blocking. Now maybe with this damage he could look in the calcs and see that I am AV, or he could guess that I am more specially defensive instead of physically defensive. It's that toss up he's got to make, and instead of doing that, he decides just to hard switch out rather than go for the heal block and try to stop me from healing myself if I had it. I go for Scald. I'm not worried about. I have no reason not to Scald against this team. If I burn the Scizor coming in, great. If I weaken Rotom, great. If I burn the Latias, I'd rather have a Toxic, but that's still not horrible. And if I burn Swampert, that's even better. So I decided to switch out here into Jirachi again, my hard counter to this thing. He decides to Wish Up now. He's seen, I believe, 3 of my moves, and he goes into the Swampert here. I went for Wish just to pass into whatever I wanted to, and I decided to toss a Toxic on the Swampert as well. He goes for his Rocks now. I expected an Earthquake, and I knew I could take one. But he decided to go for Rocks, which was good for him. I'm going to Toxic Skull, because that's kind of what this Jirachi is meant to do. He shows that he does have the Earthquake, which I don't know a Swampert without it. But I decided to Wish here. I know I can take my Earthquakes. And I just kind of take that around the third, and I can, again, protect here and get my health back. It's the point of this Jirachi is just being a dick to be a dick. And he decides to go out into the Rotom here. I protect, because I have no reason not to. And I get my health back. I'm expecting now an Overheat or a Willow, one of the two, and he tricks. So he actually give me his Choice Scarf. He was Choice Scarf Willow, and now I am, what do you call it, tricked into, scarfed into Wish. And it kind of sucks, because I probably should have protected there to see what he was. When I saw Willow earlier, I expected it to be a bulky Rotom. And even though he was spamming it, it didn't click in my head that he might be Scarf Trick Rotom with Willow. I just expected once I saw Willow that he's a bulky Rotom and he's going to try to overheat me and I need to Wish. So like it was that mindset going into this where I probably should have protected, but I didn't think he would do something like this. Once I saw Willow earlier, it was just something that was a little weird in my own mind of ways of doing things. So I'm locked into Wish, and this is kind of annoying, and I kind of have to switch out. So I decided to switch into the one thing that can take it easy on, and that's Slowbro. He goes for the burn now, and Slowbro being burned isn't a problem, and I get my Wish back anyway. Now, going up against this, as I did have, I believe, a tiny bit of speed in Slowbro or something like that. I knew I would probably be slower even with it, but I knew I could tank a Thunderbolt as well. I could take Thunderbolts, I could take a Volt Switch, and if he Volt Switches on my Scald, something might get burned. He's still running that risk. Here he does decide to Volt Switch, and it's a crit, so that's great. But he goes out into the Sylveon. Again, his switch into Slowbro is a Sylveon, and finally, after 3 Scalds, we get the burn on the Sylveon. And now I'm scared of Hyper Voice because I can't live one this low. I have to switch out, and I go out into Jirachi again. Even though I'm Scarfed, now I'm Scarfed in Iron Head, and if I get flinches and if I flinch things out, you gave me the Scarf. So he does Wish here, going out into his Scizor, knowing that I'm Scarfed and everything. I have to go into Iron Head, and he'll be back up to full health after getting that Wish. And now I'm kind of in a predicament where he can easy set up on me. And so I decided to go out into Sandshrew, basically says to sack off. He is going to set up the Swords Dance. And I'm basically sacking off Sandshrew here, because no matter really, unless he gets like plus, I believe, 6, plus 4, I think, still won't do it. So I believe he had to get to plus 6 to be able to kill Delphox with a Bullet Punch after Rocks damage. So I could easily revenge kill him with Delphox at any point. That was really kind of what I was worried. We're not as worried about sacking off, or him setting up right now and sacking off Sandshrew. He decided to just keep going for Swords Dance. That's perfectly fine. I decided to Rapid Spin this turn to get the rocks away. I figured he would try to set up knowing I had counter, so I decided to Rapid Spin here. And here I went for counter as he switched out back into the Swampert. And I went for the counter there, expecting him to try to kill me. And if I would have lived, that would have been amazing. But I did not think that a fucking burned Alolan Sandshrew would scare out a plus 4 Mega Scizor. I think his reasoning was that even at plus 4, he still couldn't kill me with his moves, and then risk getting counter killed, which is, again, valid reason, but I still was not expecting a hard switch, anything there. I was expecting him to set up to plus 6 to guarantee the kill. But we got rocks away, so that was really nice. Even though this Swampert can just set them right back up, he decides to Earthquake, which is cool. I could have clicked counter. I clicked Rapid Spin because I expected him to set up rocks and just let me die to burn, pretty much. This turn, he decides to switch out again, going into the Latios. I just click Rapid Spin. Basically, if he sets up rocks and I Rapid Spin them away before I die, that's what I need to do. And sadly, Sandshrew goes down, but I bring in Slowbro here to scare this thing with the Shadow Ball. He goes into the Sylveon, his dedicated switch, and I just click Shadow Ball anyway, and I get the special defense drop. I didn't feel like I lost much by clicking Shadow Ball. I wasn't expecting a defense drop or anything, but I just felt like I wasn't expecting anything else, and I could do Shadow Ball pretty easily. I didn't want to over-predict in Scald. This thing's already burned, and Scald wasn't doing much originally, so figured Shadow Ball could be better. But that special defense drop really helps me take the Sylveon on and forces him to switch out into his Silvally, and I click Scald here because the Scald can do a lot more damage with that special defense drop, and it does end up picking up a kill on Silvally. Next, he goes back out into the Sylveon. You know, again, that's his switch. I switch into Jirachi. We played this game pretty much the entirety of the game. And here I was kind of expecting, like he did before, of switching into Scizor to get the boost. Or not to get the boost, to get a free turn of Swords Dance, get the Wish back, and not worry about it. So I was kind of wondering what I should do here, and I decided to hard switch, going into Slowbro to try to counter that little plan of his, and he goes onto the Swampert instead. And I'm like, okay, fine. Even though he knows I have Grass Knot, I still kind of have to go for it. So he decides to get his rocks up here. I go for the Grass Knot. It's Rindo Berry. So, sadly, the Grass Knot couldn't just destroy this thing, but good on him to have Rindo Berry for it. He Earthquakes here, not doing really anything to me. I'm going to Scald because I don't have a reason not to. I figured he might switch out to save this, but Toxic would have killed it anyway if I didn't kill it with Scald, so I figured it wasn't an easy play to make. And here I was a little worried, because bringing Scizor in against a burned Slowbro, to me, isn't the best play unless he has Bug Bite. And if he doesn't have Bug Bite, then he has Aerial Ace and can't touch, Buzzwole. So it was really weird here. I didn't know what he was exactly going to do besides just set up. So again, he does have the Bug Bite. I went for Scald. I expected him to have Aerial Ace instead of it, and sadly Slowbro went down. But fucking Delphox can come right in here and revenge killed it, scare him out. He goes into this. I Shadow Balled due to the fact of I didn't expect him to stay in, He would have died if he did. And if he went into the Latias, which was my expectation of what he would switch into a fire move, I could hit him really hard with the Shadow Ball, and I believe to a KO if he wasn't a bulky Latias. And thankfully, thanks to the Toxic on this thing, we will be able to 2-hit KO the Rotom instead of 2-hit KOing the Latias. So Delphox picks up a good kill here. He goes out into the Latias now, which the way he went into this now makes me think he's Scarfed, because he has to guess I'm Scarfed or anything here, because it's pretty much a Scarf Latias or Scarf Delphox is what I'm usually running. Like it just works that well for me, and so he has to guess that I'm Scarf still. And by him bringing this in makes me think he's Scarfed. So I'm going to switch out here, going into Jirachi kind of as a sack off. And he does go right for the Shadow Ball on his end. Won't 2-hit KO me, but I can get some good Iron Head damage off. But I decided to switch out, going back into Delphox, guessing that he wasn't Scarfed. He decides to pull the double again, going into what do you call it, into Scizor. And it was kind of a big boy play, because if I did this and he just quick Shadow Ball, I lose Delphox. But again, if he didn't switch out, he really couldn't get a greater time to set up a +2 and then kill me after the next round of rocks of Delphox with Bullet Punch. So getting that prediction switch was really nice. He goes into Sylveon now, and Fire Blast will 2-hit KO the Sylveon. I didn't want to quick Shadow Ball here again because I didn't think I could 2-hit KO Sylveon with it. And thankfully I land 2 Fire Blasts, and Sylveon's now down. So it's 2 that Delphox has claimed. And he goes out into the Latias again this way, and again, by him doing this, it makes me think that he's Scarfed. Like, it's a great job of him showing me that he's Scarfed and making me think that on my end. So I have to switch out here. I go back out into Jirachi. I knew I could take any one hit once, and I lived the Shadow Ball hit. I lived the crit Shadow Ball, which was shitty. But he decided to switch out here into Scizor, and I pulled a play I wished. And here, again, I'll show you why I switched out here. I'll explain why in a second. I wished here because I figured he would kill me. And if he didn't kill me, cool, I got a wish up. But I did not know what I was going to wish into afterwards. It was either I wish into Buzzwole, and if he goes +2, I can try to kill him with Superpower, but I don't believe I will. I can quick bulk up. Still won't live a +2 Aerial Ace. If I went into Zygarde and he went for Bullet Punch, I'm pretty sure after Rocks damage, he could 2-hit KO me with Bullet Punch. I had to make the big boy play here and try to have him over-predict what I might switch into, and I had to basically try to pass the wish back into Delphox or hope that he's set up. It was around those lines. He had to either switch out or set up, and I had to wish past in Delphox. So I went for a big boy play, going into Delphox, getting the Rocks damage, and he switches out into the Latias. Here it was really nice on my end. I get my Delphox back up to full. I can take a Bullet Punch after Rocks in the next round, I believe. So Delphox is now all of a sudden back to being a threat, and he knows I have Shadow Ball, and if he's guessing I'm Scarfed, I think I can 2-hit KO him with Shadow Ball. If not, I believe I can 2-hit KO him with Dazzling Gleam, one of the two. But I decided to switch out here into Lesnar to sack this off to see what he does. I want to see what he does, just to see what he's going for, and he goes for a Shadow Ball of his own. So I go into Buzzwole. Usually you wouldn't switch in a Buzzwole on Latias. Seems like a really dumb move on my part, but again, he was showing me so hard that he was Scarfed the entire game. He's going for Shadow Ball. I can take any Shadow Ball, and I can Leech Life and kill this motherfucker and get all that health back. I can't remember if I could take 2 Scarf Shadow Balls or not, but if anything, I was expecting him maybe to bulk up, or maybe to switch out. So I was like, okay, I can bulk up too. I can hopefully take 2 Shadow Balls. It would have been a high roll on one of the 2 to kill me. But I can bulk up here and then do hella damage the next turn with Leech Life and kill him and get all that health back. Or be a bulked up Buzzwole in front of a Mega Scizor if he switches out. Either way, bulk up was my better play here, with me expecting that he'd be Scarfed. He wasn't. The entire time he was not Scarfed, and it bluffed the hell out of me, so Buzzwole came in and died for nothing. I went into Roman here, knowing that I'm Scarfed now and I can outspeed this, and I went for 1,000 Arrows because I expected him to switch out. With him now, me bringing this in, confident that he's not Scarfed, I can straight up kill this thing with Outrage, and then do damage to the Scizor. He kills me, I bring in Delphox, I kill him. Like, it was that motivation, like that series of plays that I figured he would have to realize, and so he would switch out here, and I could 2-hit KO, or at least 3-hit KO the Scizor with 1,000 Arrows, hopefully, or get it low enough so that I could kill with Delphox easily with like a Dazzling Gleam, or a Shadow Ball, so I could kill this. but he decides to stay in and takes 1,000 arrows, and he goes for a Shadow Ball of his own. I didn't know why. Maybe he didn't have Dragon Stab, and now he's decided to switch out here, and I'm just spamming 1,000 arrows at this point, getting the damage I need to on Scizor. 4,000 arrows. We see it would be a 4A KO around there. I switch into Delphox, expecting him to either Bullet Punch or Set Up or Roost, one of the three. If he went for Bug Bite, I highly doubted he would have gone for Bug Bite here. It didn't seem like a good play in my opinion, to go for Bug Bite. If anything, he Bullet Punches to be able to beat my Zygarde before it can do more damage to this. He goes for the Bug Bite, and I lose Delphox. And now I'm sitting here like, fuck. Like, that's literally, that was the one move I expected him not to do. And here I had to go for, I believe I went for Outrage, and he ends up going for the Bullet Punch and killing me. So sadly, we end up losing this one 1-0. I don't know why I paused it at the end of the game. But the Bug Bite at the end, I was not expecting. I was expecting Bullet Punch, a Setup, or Roost. One of the three. But anything but Bug Bite, because it didn't seem, I guess, to make that much sense to me. I figured I might be able to live the Bug Bite with Zygarde, as I believe he quad resists it. And then I could basically be doing more damage to him than he could do to me. And then Delphox just comes in and kills him anyway. So it was weird in my eyes to do it, but it paid off in the end for George. It was his play to make, and it paid off for him at the end. The bluff on Latias, for Latias being bluff Scarfed, was so important for him, and was really the thing that I feel totally shifted the momentum back to him once it was just these two and I had 4 Mons. That bluffing of Scarf was really well on his part and just shifted the momentum back to him after killing Buzzwole. Because Buzzwole, if this thing got weakened, Buzzwole could do what it needed to. At least again, taking out the Scizor, and then Zygarde could take out Latias. Or if it took out Latias, Delphox could take out Scizor. Either way around. But sadly, with Buzzwole getting down to the Psychic, it was a little annoying. But it was still a good game to George. Go check out his links in the description and stuff so you can see his end of the battle and what he thought his thought process was throughout it. His thought process, especially, of seeing a Alolan Sandshrew, seeing counter a Alolan Sandshrew. But if you guys enjoyed the video and stuff, give it a like and subscribe. Subscribe for the Sandshrew. Like, I'm hoping to be able to bring it again. So I'm really interested in see what I can do with it. Links and everything down below to Twitch as well. There'll be more streaming and stuff going on over there as we go further, and life for me kind of starts calming down a little bit and I'll have more time to do so. But without further ado, I'm gonna get up and out of here. So thank you guys for coming out. I'm Carson, this Toxic Gaming, and as always, you guys stay toxic. We'll see you guys.